right now. Sure, I'll come up with another set of recommendations if that's what you task me to do. That's my obligation and my responsibility, but I think we have input from a citizens committee that I really enjoyed working with. We have input now from 7 different board members, and I think to adjourn a meeting tasking the superintendent with the responsibility of determining what we're going to do with our 6 elementary schools 2 years into this conversation is a little unreasonable. Thank you. At the same time, I really want to move our district forward. And I think our community is hoping and expecting and anticipating that we can come to some kind of a conclusion, if not tonight, in the very near future. I think we're all a little weary. I don't think anybody's enjoyed this conversation, and I would agree, and I appreciate what a couple of speakers said tonight. It wasn't anticipated to be a divisive conversation, but in some ways it's turned out to be a divisive conversation, and I don't think anybody has enjoyed contributing to that element of the conversation. I'm not sure what more to say. I'm a little surprised, so I'd like to reflect a little bit and not say anything more that I would regret saying. But I'm not really prepared to say, oh, I've got a great idea for all 6 schools, and this is what we can do next. I think we all own this, and I need the board to get involved. I need some unity from the board. I need some continuity of message from the board. And I think we need to work on this together. I'm not going to shirk my responsibility, and I know there's dozens of people, maybe not hundreds, but dozens of people that have appreciated the fact that I have taken responsibility for my actions to date and will continue to do so. So I'm not sure what more to say other than that right now, but I'll reflect and make a few more comments as I deem appropriate.
Well, if you'll allow me, Madam Chairperson, I'd like to communicate some stuff at this point. And it's going to take a few minutes. Is that all right?
Sure.
I'm sorry, did somebody else
I think Kate, were you
ask
waiting?
Dave another question, but it's fine.
No,
we can
go
do
ahead.
Dave's first.
Go ahead.
No, please, ask him the question.
I think the question, and you might have answered it, but I didn't quite get it. I think the immediate question was just for not what will you do with 6 buildings or what will happen in a couple of years, but for tonight, are you still recommending that we move forward with the proposal from September 8th?
Yeah, I think at this point in time, I think that's the best proposal on the board. I wish it weren't a 4-3 divide as it is on the board or as it was on September 8th. I'm not sure that that's what where we are right now as a board. It would be, I think, really important for each board member to talk about what they believe is the most important thing. I think in my original proposal, I'd like to go back a little bit to that. When I made my original comments, this is a plan that would take effect in 2016, allowing us plenty of time to work with appropriate resources to determine a very viable and appropriate use of Red Cedar Elementary School. I'd like to have some time to work with MSU. I'd like to have some time to work with the City of East Lansing. I'd like to have some time to work with the Red Cedar Neighborhood Association. And I think 4 years gives us some time to deal with that. It also gives us some time, if there's a dramatic change in enrollment trends, to find a way to make an adjustment. But the reality is, I think we need to move forward at this point. I do think the bond issue is significant. I don't mind saying that. I think we have an opportunity as a community to upgrade our elementary schools. I think it can be a great, great project for the community. I've always viewed this community as one that works together in collaboration with one another. And I think for us to pass on an opportunity to get this out of the boardroom and into the hands of the voters is inappropriate on our part. I think the voters need an opportunity to pass judgment. And I think that's a very significant piece here. So, you know, my proposal, going back, is not to close Red Cedar Elementary School. My proposal was to build at 5 different sites, and in the year 2016, stop the use of Red Cedar Elementary School in the way that it's now being used, after having had an opportunity to work with those resources that I mentioned and move forward. You know, let me also say, while nobody else is jumping in here, that I have truly appreciated everything that's been said about Red Cedar Elementary School. I have loved my visits and my work at Red Cedar Elementary School and love the spirit of what has been mentioned over the past several weeks about Red Cedar School. I think that faculty is fantastic. I think the student body is exceptional. And I have never turned my back on the student body. Some believe that I have, but I believe in my heart of hearts that I've never turned my back on any one of our students in the school district, and that my recommendations and my proposals and my commentary have always been about all students. Working in difficult conditions that were not part of our school district when I started in 2004. So I say all of
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all going to have the opportunity to speak about this issue, and I think you can relax for a little while. It's our turn. This is our vote.
Yes, it is.
This is our
Yes, it
vote.
is.
We are the Board of Education. You have been out in front for a long time. There were some questions relative to your recommendation, but it is the 7 of us that have to vote. George,
Well, I'm going to talk for a few minutes. I hope you'll indulge me.
please.
You know, I always try to think of what my main thought is. It's hard at my age. But, you know, there were 2 things I was thinking of in terms of the topic I want to talk about. The first one, I thought the title might be, I just was getting up from the tracks after a train called Reconfiguration ran over me, and I'm looking back down the tracks and I'm going, where did that train come from? And then the second thing I was thinking of, funny, I didn't hear any parent or grandparent talk about how poorly their child was doing in the East Lansing Public Schools the last, 3 months. A friend recently told me that it was too bad our decision-making couldn't mesh with the needs of the city as a whole and the university. Another friend recently indicated to me that it seemed like our overriding principle in making this decision should be, to borrow from the medical profession, quote, first, do no harm, end quote. It is my experience that the most successful public decisions in East Lansing are those that are made with the general consensus of the community. Yet tonight we apparently stand on the brink of making a decision which is not supported by any real consensus, either amongst the public or on the board. Tonight we are apparently on the brink of a decision which I fear will not mesh with the needs of the patchwork quilt of constituencies which make up this town-gown community. Tonight, we are apparently on the brink of a decision which I fear will in fact do substantial, irrevocable harm. Why are we on this path? It isn't because the school administration has misled us, they haven't. It isn't because board members have been swayed by appeals of their constituents, they haven't, they're trying to do the best thing. It isn't because the Citizens Committee didn't do its job, it did. It isn't because a few members of the community have indulged themselves in pitting one neighborhood against another. It isn't because the City Council chose to speak out on this issue. It isn't because, for one of the first times in my memory, the MSU administration decided to send a clear public signal about its preference. We are on this path tonight because of one word. That word is, quote, money, end quote. Money has been the overriding topic since I joined the board in 2003. Money has been the major concern on the school board agenda ever since. The topic of money overshadows every other consideration. In short, money has been the bully on our school playground for the last several years. I find it totally non-productive to question the motives of any board member, administrator, or community member who has spoken out or considered this matter. Nor do I want to waste the time of the board talking about a long, drawn-out process which, ironically enough, seems to have delivered no consensus. The proof is again tonight. The proof was the Citizens Committee report. The proof is every email. The proof is every time we've met on this topic. But I would like to suggest this. I suggest that we pause to decide if the money bully is going to, in the end, dictate our actions. Is the money bully going to cut across